Hey guys, Celeste Sauter here. How is everyone? Good morning. It is September 20th, 2024. This is Rise and Shine with Celeste, and we are still on Psalm 23, but we're wrapping it up today. And oh my goodness, what a I don't even know, such a deep study. I think we've all, seen and heard and whatever, Psalm 23 in our life. And maybe we haven't. Maybe I'm just making assumptions there. But, the though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, that is something that I think a lot of us can just like spout off, but do we even understand what it means? And it doesn't even necessarily we have to understand what that means. It's like, do we understand what it means to have somebody leading us and guiding us through the valley of the shadow of death? And do we trust that? So that's where we're at. So good morning. Oh my goodness. All right. I have moved the time from 7 a.m. to 7:30 Central Time for Rise and Shine. I'm just trying it out, just I've been trying it out for probably about the last 3 days. I'm not sure if we're going to keep it there, but I kind of like having a little bit of a buffer. It feels like 7 a.m. was feeling really constricted. So, anyways, I'm kind of liking that extra 30 minutes. So, I am going to pull this up. I need to make sure that I am on the other app. I am over on, yep, I am here. Okay. So, I am on TikTok over here too. So, good morning. And then I also will be capturing all of this and putting it on a podcast. So, if you can't listen live, then the podcast is available too. All right. Yep. All right. So I just want to make sure that, yep. All right. So we are there. So good morning. Good morning. If you're over here, please say hi. All right. So let's pray. Let's get into it. We're talking Psalm 23. We are talking Psalm 23 today. We are wrapping it up. And I will say that I've been capturing all the transcripts and stuff too, and I'm excited to put together a 10-day study on Psalm 23 that you can download. So that's really fun too. So, all right, Lord, thank you for this time. Thank you for the people that come and they listen, and I thank you for that. I thank you for the encouragement. Because Lord, I need it. I don't need the ego boosting, but I do need the encouragement every now and then to keep going, because sometimes it feels pointless. And I thank you that there are people that are obedient and encouraging others, and that you've given others, well, you've given people that gift of encouragement. It's a gift from you, and I thank you for that. So in Psalm 139, I pray this over my life, and I encourage those who are listening and watching or hearing the replay or whatever to do the same. God, I invite your searching gaze into my heart. I trust you there. Examine me through and through, find out everything that may be hidden within me. Put me to the test and sift through all of my anxious cares. See if there's any path of pain I'm walking on, and lead me back to your glorious everlasting ways, the path that brings me back to you. I offer myself as a living sacrifice today. Your will, not mine, be done. Your will, not ours, be done. Your will, not mine, be done. Let me be like putty in your hands, where obedience, surrender, and submission are acts of worship and done out of love and not done out of religious obligation. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, I am on here a lot, Caitlin. So hello. I'm so happy that you are tuning in. So hello, good morning. All right, guys, we are talking Psalm 23. We're wrapping it up. And I can't tell y'all how much this has blessed my life. My hair looks crazy today. What in the world? Like, it's getting to that point where it's like, what do I even do with it? Happy Friday. Good morning. Yes. So I don't know about y'all, but this Psalm 23 has really blessed my life. And Oh my goodness. I need to reach out to Wendy, honestly, because I am just, my hair is like, well, if I had a lot of hair, it'd be blown back right now, by the connections and just what God is doing. And so, anyways, Wendy, I'll be reaching out to you today. I do want to encourage y'all if you live it. Yes. So I thought you looked glowing. Thank you. Um, I want to encourage you if you live in my area, we are having like a park revival kind of thing this weekend. So I'll be there tonight and tomorrow. I will be speaking tonight, which is exciting. And they only gave me 20 minutes. So pray for me because, did y'all see that? That was just a little piece of dust. That was crazy. Um, Pray for me because I don't know how to wrap it up in 20 minutes. I might just get started. But I want to honor them in their time, right? So, anyways, be praying for me that my mouth stops. I have to tell y'all, I spent the first 40 years of my life not really speaking. I was scared to talk. I was scared of my own voice. I had a lot of there was lots of natural ability, even singing, and I was in dance for a number of years, and I sang, and I did all these things, but I had such a crippling fear of being seen that I would not push past the fear, and I would like let it get the best of me. And so, I quit dance when I quit dance a couple of times. Once when I was 12, then I went back, and then I quit it again when I was 16. I'd started at 3. That was a lot of years of putting into dance. I took, singing lessons and all kinds of stuff, but yet fear would grip me where when solo and ensemble season would come and I would have to like sing solos in front of people. I could do it in competition, the solo, because if you've ever been in choir, the solo is done behind, like you go into a room, but you don't see your judges. You're kind of in a, like you're singing to a partition. So you're just singing to a wall. And I could do that, but preparing for solos, they wanted us to like sing in front of our class and or the other choir mates. And oh wow, that was hard. It was really really hard, and I would break down in tears and like sobbing tears. And I'm telling you all of this because I don't sit here. um I'm humbled to be sitting here and actually like using my voice. And I laugh about it now because I can't, I'm having a hard time being quiet. I'm having a hard time finding that I don't stop talking. I just I just don't stop talking. And who am I? And I'm humbled by it because it's only him. It's only him because of the healing I've received. And so I want to get into that today. Like Psalm 23 really really is such a rich psalm for being such a short psalm. And I think that you know I don't know if it's a we thing, okay? I don't know. I do know that God has shown me a lot in the last few months, but especially in this last week or two, as we've gone through this, of his character towards us and the way that we actually have perceived it is all wrong. I think it was yesterday where I talked about he doesn't want a Stepford wife. Like he's like, don't, no, I don't. That's not required of you. You don't have to put on the Christian uniform and speak the language and get in line. That is not what happens when you come to believe, or that you start applying the word to your life and you start really like seeking that relationship with him and stuff like that. You don't become a Stepford wife. And so I really love that because I thought that that's what I had to do, and I did. I did that. Anyone else? I did that where I was like, "Okay, I'm a Jesus believer, so now I gotta get in line. I'm gonna wear the uniform, and I'm gonna talk the talk and walk the walk, and I'm gonna do that." But that was that was not necessarily pursuing him. It wasn't necessarily pursuing him. It was pursuing what I thought he wanted from me. That's two totally different camps of thought there. Am I wrong? Like, I mean, can y'all see it? Anyways, I thought I needed to like don the uniform and learn the language. And so anyways, there's a lot. Okay. Let's unpack it today. Psalm 23. We've been talking about it a couple of weeks. It's such a rich Psalm. So much imagery, so much of God's character in it. Yet we have, for me, I know, have passed by it like, yeah, okay. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. That sounds great in theory. That sounds great in theory. All right, whatever, kind of thing. But as we look at this, like, we need to look at it as a whole. All right. So we're going to do that. So not necessarily we're going to go brick by brick like today, because wow, that's a lot. But we've covered it for the last couple of weeks. So let's look at it. This is the underlying current of what I learned. And I hope this is what you took from it too. But see, there's three choices we have. And Psalm 23 actually shows us if we make the choice that we were made to make. If we make the choice that we were actually created to make, yet we have free will. So we get to choose. But if we were to make the choice that we were created to make, this is what life would be like. And so I was like, well, I'm all about the practical. Okay. I'm all about the practical. I woke up thinking about this memory, and I posted about it before I went live. I know Facebook's probably like, oh my gosh, what is this? Your algorithm is all kinds of off. And I'm like, I don't care, because I believe in something bigger than the algorithm, right? So first and foremost, Psalm 23 speaks of God walking with us through our darkest valleys. It also speaks to him offering us a resting place. I talked about that. It's like the Texas Hill Country Mansion. You come in, it's so comfortable, and it's clean and it's comfortable, but like it's not so clean that you can't touch anything, and you're not afraid to mess things up, and it's just comfort. It's just like luxurious comfort. And you come in and it's clean and like there's food, but you don't have to, it's just, comfort. And that he offers that, but it's up to us to accept it, right? He also opens up paths. We don't have to find our own path. We just have to follow him, which takes a huge burden off of me. I don't know about y'all, especially as an entrepreneur. I've always thought I had to find my path, find what works for me. But yet when I just gave him my yes and didn't look for the outcome, but just started pursuing him one day at a time, so many doors have opened. So many connections have been made. And it was simply by letting him lead me, giving up the control, like finally surrendering the need to know the outcome before getting started, and just doing it, just getting started. So speaking to someone, I didn't have to find the path. He knew it. He already knew. He already knew the way because he's paved it. See, he makes crooked paths straight. He takes the rugged and makes it smooth. And sometimes the paths that he puts us on look like circular, and that doesn't look like we're going anywhere, but it's for our safety. We talked about that in the circular paths of righteousness when it comes to being shepherded. And then we come to, verse, 4, where it in the Passion Translation, it says, even when your path takes me through the valley of deepest darkness, y'all put your forehead to his shoulder blades and walk through it. He knows the way. He knows the way. He has the rod and the staff. He will keep you safe. That rod and staff is not to keep you, like, bonk you in the head when you get out of line. Just put your forehead to his shoulder blades, meaning put your This is the life union that a lot, you find the word life union in the Passion Translation a lot. See, you don't understand what it is to have a union in life with God without walking through the deepest darkness, because you don't understand what it is to put your forehead to his shoulder blades or let him hold you in complete despair unless you're walking through those things. You're also you have to understand too that in those moments, that's where the message is built. And it's not that he puts you in the deepest darkness because you have to have a message. It's to grow you, and there's resilience there. And I will say, for my deepest darkness, it was trauma from other people. It was shame that I had carried a lifetime of it that put me in that space. It doesn't mean that God put me there, but when I was in that time in my life, I call it the dark night of my soul in my book. But when I was in the dark night of my soul, he was the only one there constantly. And it took me having that dark night of the soul, whether it wasn't from him. He doesn't break our heart to mend it. He is not both heartbreaker and heart mender. He's not. It's not his character. But yet, in the deepest darkness where shame had consumed me and I just broke, it wasn't just shame, it was judgments, it was unforgiveness, it was all these things that put me in that place. Yet there he was, not shaming me, not making me feel bad for being in the place, but just loving me through the place, the deepest darkness. And in that place of mine, in that moment of mine, in that season, that wilderness season of mine, what happened was I had nowhere else to look but him. It was truly rock bottom, and I was a believer. And see, I was in the camp of belief that my rock bottom was before Christ. But see, my rock bottom was after. I loved how somebody put it. They were like, we talk about before Christ all the time, our BC life, the drinking, the partying, the sex, the all of it, like the stuff, the grossness, right? Like just the things that you can see how he has healed and transformed your life from before Christ to the new creature, right? The new creation. But it's in your walk with the life, like it's in your walk, in the communion, in the life union, that you tether yourself to him. It's in those dark night of the souls. It's the after crisis that your resilience and faith is formed. It's in the fire. We talk, you look at that in the book of Daniel with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. There was 4 in the fire. 3 were thrown in. There was the 4th man in the fire. It's in the fire. They still had to go through the fire, yet not one hair, even on their arm, was singed. But it was so hot that the ones throwing them in the fire died. Do y'all see this? They were thrown in the fire by what man did. Like it was an attack on their lives, not just by man, but by the enemy. The enemy utilized, like, using men against them and all these things. Yet the 4th man in the fire, he was in the fire with them. It's the same as my dark night of the soul. It's the same as the path that he leads us in. It's the deep. Even when your path takes me through the valley of the deepest darkness, it will happen because we all have trauma. We all have after crisis. But I was in the thought that my rock bottom was in my before Christ, but it wasn't. It was in my during. And that's where I was forged. That's where you hear about, like a blacksmith or a jewelry maker, where they are melting the, precious metals down, and they have to scoop the dross off. And it's when they see their reflection, they know that it's been purified. That's the silversmith. That's what I was looking for. It's the same goes with God. It's not that he necessarily put me in the fire, but he's going to use it. It's not necessarily that he put me on the path of pain, but he's going to use it. Is this speaking to someone today? I hope it is. And there's 3 choices we get to make in this as we go through Psalm 23. Psalm 23 doesn't give us the choices, but in our own humanness, this is what happens. And it's because of the way that we were created. And those 3 choices are: you can accept that he loves you like this and let go of needing to know the outcome of it. You can accept the love. You can deny the love, or you can try to earn the love. There's 3. I have one. There's 3 choices here. We can accept it, we can deny it, or we can try to earn it. So which one were we created for? Which one were we created for? And it's in our unbelief. It's in the way we perceive him. It's in our lens of shame. It's in our inability to trust. It's in our mind. Okay, so here, this was something that really struck me. And I want you to think about this. I'm going to ask y'all a couple of questions when it comes to this. We're looking at Psalm 23, but see, it tells us God is our best friend. God is our best friend. I don't know about y'all, but after I walked through my deepest darkness, I was probably still walking through it a little bit. But in my deepest darkness, I absolutely lost all trust in anybody that wanted to be my friend. All trust. I even had somebody say they wanted to be my friend, and I told them, no, thank you. And it had nothing to do with them and everything to do with me and what I had walked through. And I pray that she didn't actually take it on as, identity, that I had denied her friendship, but I denied friendship. And the same goes for us. Are you denying his friendship? Are you accepting it? Are you trying to earn it? Do you even know what it looks like? For me, it was kind of all 3. I didn't know. I didn't know. I understand what it is to deny a friendship too. I didn't need, I was no, that friendship hurts, y'all. Relationships hurt. I don't need another one. Thank you. No, thank you. So I understand that. I can also understand the other thought of it. Why would he want to be my friend? Right? But it says the Lord is my best friend and my shepherd. Are you accepting it? Do you accept it? Do you deny it? Or do you try to earn it? Accepting his love is not a passive thing, though, either. See, it's a daily active choice. And it's a choice to root ourselves in that love and let it guide our thoughts, our actions, our worldview. See, if you are in the, I am going to accept this active choice to root yourself in the love of God and learn who he is, who you are, and how you can not only just love him and love others, but the messy middle. As you learn the messy middle, you get to apply actual heart behind the loving others. You're not just doing it as a Stepford wife wearing the uniform and speaking the language. It becomes this active pursuit. It's an active choice to root ourselves in that love and let it guide our thoughts, actions, and worldview. And in that means letting go of the need to control the outcomes or earn favor, and simply rest in the assurance that you are deeply loved. What does that look like? We talked about that yesterday. Practically, what does that look like? Well, it looks like somebody that's confident assured, somebody that has healthy boundaries, solid boundaries, even not an unmoving, unwielding kind of thing, but you know that you know that you know that what is right and wrong. You know what will be loving towards yourself or others and not. You don't accept toxic relationships in your life. Like there's all these things, right? That is the acceptance of his love. The refusal. So this is where you will still try to walk through life on your own terms. I even talked about this actually in my post this morning about how I had confused the way that my grandfather had interacted with me, and that was just one moment. That I didn't recognize shame in my life until I looked at shame in my life. I'm actually writing in a whole book about it, um, and how it progressively, as I went through life, kind of destroyed my view of myself and others and things like that. But um, this is what happens is that we try to walk through life on our own, right? Attempting to solve our problems and navigate difficulties. And this is a really good example where I would beg God to shame me somewhere so that I could fix something. It's so strange now that I think about it, but I would beg him to show me the places like that. And then I would take it and I would try to apply my own methods on it, like self-development and, shaming myself into behavior modification and things like that. But see, that's what refusing his love looks like. Without that communion, we lose out on the guidance and peace that God offers. Because, see, the guidance that God offers is not worldly guidance. So when you are following God and accepting of his love and understanding that he's leading you, and it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing because you're not a Stepford wife, you're not wearing the uniform, you're not speaking the language, you're just in relationship with him. It looks completely different than being a Stepford wife, wearing the uniform, speaking the language, and getting in line. Do you see what I'm saying? So we lose out on the guidance and peace that God offers because we're not on the right path. Even with the best intentions, we're like, we got it from here. That's a refusal of that. There's a refusal. It goes hand in hand with having to earn it too. So this often, like trying to earn his love, often is the default when we have internalized a belief that love and worthiness are transactional. Anyone else experience that in your own life, that love and worthiness are transactional and that we must perform or strive in order to be accepted? Let's just go back to the hill country mansion that is so comfortable and it's clean and there's food and we don't have to really do anything. We just our presence being there is all that is required, and there's a pool out in the back, and you just laying around just being human, and there's nothing put on you. Who can just accept that? Or do you feel like you need to get up and straighten and make your bed even? Okay. So you're staying in this beautiful hill country Texas home. There is somebody cleaning it. You don't know who, yet you still feel like you have to make your bed because you feel burdened to make somebody have to pick up after you. And your host is like, do not touch your bed. Somebody will come make your bed. Don't touch those clothes do not pick up that towel. We will come and pick the towels up, and you will have a nice, fluffy, clean towel for the next time you want to shower or get out of the pool. There's nothing required of you yet, or except your presence. Yet you feel like you have to make your bed, pick up your towels, go put them in the laundry room. Instead of just putting your cup in the sink like you've been told, you think, where is the dishwasher? I can at least put my cup in the dishwasher like I haven't been here. I'm a burden. My presence is a burden. The evidence of my presence is a burden. See, do you see? And the host is like, you're not a burden. Please leave your cup there. Keep your bed unmade and just drop your towel wherever it lands. Don't worry about it. Who can accept that? I have such a hard time with it. So this trying to earn his love, it makes sense, but it goes hand in hand with the refusal. So this often the default when we have internalized a belief that love and worthiness are transactional, that we must perform or strive in order to be accepted. However, as we have looked, Psalm 23 invites us into a place of rest, not performance. I always have more than enough is a reminder that God's grace and love are not things we need to earn. They are freely given, overflowing and abundant. Do you accept them? Do you accept it? All right, I'm going to wrap it up. This is what a life living with the acceptance. Remember, we just talked about acceptance of his love, the accepting that he loves me and learning who he is. All that is required of me is my presence in his presence. All that is required is that I seek him in my life, that I daily make the active choice to root myself in his love and let it guide my thoughts, actions, and worldview. Yet that is the hardest choice to make because we don't understand it. We don't understand unconditional love. We don't understand how to accept it. I'm going to tell you, when God showed me what unconditional love is this year, it is not this blanket umbrella term that you come to understand who God is, and then all of a sudden you experience unconditional love, which you can, but you know what unconditional love is, and you just give it to everybody else, and when you don't, you fail. And we all fell. Am I wrong? We all fell because we're human. We're still working on ourselves. We still got judgments. We still live in a fallen world, like all these things. Unconditional love is not a blanket term. It is not a one and done. It is an active pursuit of loving people without the conditions that you want to put on them at that time. It doesn't mean that I forgive somebody and all of a sudden I have unconditional love for them. If they pop up in my brain, if the thought pops up in my head about what they did, in that moment, I release it and I choose not to go there with the judgments that I want to make. The willingness not to put the condition that you want to on them at that time. Unconditional love means without that condition that your flesh, brain, emotions, whatever, want to put on that person at that time. That is unconditional love. That means without condition, without that condition. If something gets triggered in you, somebody gets brought up, instead of taking that thought about them and judging them in that moment because you've been triggered, instead, you lift them up, you let them go, and you choose not to go there. And that is a love without conditions. Do you see the difference? Then the blanket term of unconditional love that we've all come, and then we've all failed at it. And then shame comes in and you're like, I failed as that Stepford Christian. Woe is me. God, why do you even want me? Do you see? And he's like, good gracious, go back to the scripture. Let's talk about this. I love you. Do you accept it? Can you, in the moments that things are triggered in you, instead of looking at the person, remember that we don't battle flesh and blood, that there's something that's triggered in you, but that doesn't mean that you have to take it and run with it. You can lay it down at my feet. You can let me into the problem. You can accept that I really do want to be a part of your problems. You don't have to fix yourself and make yourself smell better before you come to my presence, because it doesn't work like that. Does this make sense to anybody? So what does life like this look like? What this life is marked by, like this life, this one where you have the active pursuit and you know that you're loved. You don't have to earn it and you can just rest in it, even in the moments that you're really, really down. Well, it means no longer striving to prove our worth or be good enough to anybody, to anybody. I've let I've let big relationships in my life go this year because I had my nervous system would react with the need to strive, prove myself, or make myself small, meaning I was never good enough. And it might have been my own perception, but I had to release those relationships, praying that God will restore them when He's ready. But I can no longer participate in them because of how my nervous system reacts and how I was pursuing their acceptance and not all out pursuing what God was calling me to. So resting in His care, no longer striving to prove my worth to anyone or that I was good enough to anyone, and just looking to Him, walking in the peace that I'm already fully loved and I don't need anyone's acceptance other than His. And I'm fully accepted in that moment too. This does not mean that He does not convict us in things. That's why I pray Psalm 139 over myself too, is that please convict me, Lord, not in a shameful way, but show me any path of pain I'm walking on and lead me back, right? This life is marked by joyful obedience. This is not following Him out of fear of punishment. It's also not donning the uniform, speaking the language and getting in line. That is not joyful obedience. That is a worldly view. We follow the shepherd not out of fear or punishment, but from a place of love, knowing that His guidance leads us to endless joy and everlasting bliss. His guidance will lead us down paths that not everybody's walking on. They're really quite narrow, actually. And they were always meant for you, not the multitude. And if you walk the correct path, God will bring people. Those paths will meet, and connections, kingdom connections, and these amazing connections will meet. And it was only because you chose to walk in obedience on a path that was less traveled. You weren't putting on the uniform and speaking the language anymore. You were in pursuit of Him. Identity rooted in love. We live with confidence that our identity is not based on our performance or achievements, but on unshakable truth that we are God's beloved children. Not just children. We are sons and daughters. And I know that it's kind of the same, but as an adult, my place as daughter looks different than as a child. We're not just children. We are maturing people in our relationships with God. We are beloved, and He treats us differently as children than He does as young adults, as mature adults. I'm His daughter, and He cares about raising me and guiding me and all those things. Like that makes a difference, right? So what does this look like practically? Like today, trusting that God's plans are better than my own when everything looks like it might be going up in the air. If it doesn't make sense, just trust. If it's not good, He's not done, right? It also looks like letting go of the need to earn love or approval for perfectionism, overachievement, people pleasing. And that is not a blanket thing either. You can't just lay it down and it be gone. This is something that you have to actively pursue, and you have to make sure that you actually are watching and paying attention to your nervous system and the way that you react, and the need to like say yes when you really mean no, and all these things that when those things get triggered, because they will, you let that go in that moment. Like if you want to say yes to appease somebody, but you really know you're being told to say no, you say no and you walk away, or you recognize that if they have a reaction, that is on them and not you. Cease from striving. Living in gratitude, embrace each day with a gratitude of grace and love we have already received, that we know we are cared for beyond our own ability to provide or even understand. So, what areas of your life are you still trying to earn God's approval or love? And how can you surrender those to Him today? Let me remind you who my Jesus is. Oh, He loves you. He absolutely, positively loves you. He loves you. If you're in the Lubbock, Texas area today, come out to Leftwich Park at 6 p.m. We're going to be there serving and loving on people, and just being a church without walls, y'all. All right. I hear the Lord saying in Psalm 32, 8 and 9, I will stay close to you, instructing and guiding you along the pathway for your life. I will advise you along the way and lead you forth with my eyes as your guide. Don't make it difficult. Don't be stubborn. When I take you where you've not been before, don't make me tug you and pull you along. Just come with me. Love y'all. See you Monday.